All right, here we go. This will be video number 5 for this one, and video 4 is currently uploading. Supposedly it'll be uploaded in about 14 minutes and then probably take like 8 years to process. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue here, because yeah, it takes, so for every 30 minutes of these videos, it takes another 30 minutes to an hour to, and that's if I make no edits to it, to pull it off the GoPro onto the phone and then upload it from the phone to YouTube. And arguably I might be able to get that done faster if I were to upload my videos to the cloud, but I don't like using the clouds, any clouds. Very few exceptions to that, because I'm trusting somebody else to keep my stuff safe, and it usually means that they're just gonna, somebody's gonna use your shit at some point, and why would I support that, right? Because they may or may not get credit. All right, so semi-rant aside, so we go ahead and start this. These are the same markings we had last time, where I talked about some of these areas I could go ahead and, I knew I was going to need to shave off a bit to start to further shape this wand. I mean, we did talk about some of the other considerations with regards to the neck and whatnot. So I'm not really going to go ahead and harp on those things again, because you might have already heard them once. If you haven't and you care to, then watch video, right? Pretty simple. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, that's just gonna have to be done the other way. See that? Yeah, as well. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry if the angling looks a little off here. Part of it's going to be the camera itself, but the other part is that this floor literally is not level. It slopes downwards by design, I guess. It wasn't my idea, but there's about a 6-inch difference. Well, it looks like it's more like 7 or 8 inch difference between the start near the street and the door, as in the door to the threshold. And I'm assuming that's to I guess let water run, but the spigots are outside. So I don't really know why. Somebody thought it was a good idea, I guess. We went ahead and did that. So I'm having to try to angle the camera so it doesn't look too off, but only so much I can do about that. But yeah, it absolutely isn't level, so if you, it drives me nuts. But all right, now I'm starting to be a bad boy here and take away stuff I haven't marked. Mostly clean up, but all right, I'm gonna have to come at this from the other end because I can't get the angle. Of course, I don't think you can see, so. Just leave that for later. Okay. Still got some red. Got to be careful here because put too much pressure on that, it could break it. damn, it's definitely hot over here. Fan wasn't on. Okay. This is gonna need to go. This will probably need to go. I may round this out a little bit and then let it flare a little bit here. I think I'll go ahead and do that. I don't know that it's going to get the effect that I want, but I'm at least going to try it. At least on the sides here, not necessarily up top. I'm still undecided about that. This can come down. A little bit of this. Damn, there's just so much that I could do. I'm just uncertain. And eventually you just got to make a decision, go with it. And one of the watchwords of this whole thing is you don't know what's underneath, and you're not going to. So roll the dice. Okay. As you can see, as we're getting closer, not to the end necessarily, but closer towards the end of the shaping, the major shaping, then we're taking less and less off. We're looking at more finer points and smoothing. I mean, all of the major features, the general features of the wand, are pretty much there now. Okay, that's pretty much that. I feel like the wood's getting softer too. Could just be me and realizing how much more fragile it gets as you take stuff off. But all right, so let's bring this down a little bit. Let's go ahead and accentuate this curve a little bit more, not a lot, just a little. And then, because once I get the angle that I want, since it naturally kind of curves that way a little bit, then I can accentuate it as I see fit. But that would be an overall thing. I would take a little bit off of everything to then do that. That's why I'm trying to get some of these. So once I get the angles and stuff done right, then I can slowly reduce all sides here, and as equally as possible to keep that shape while getting the more slender taper that I'm looking for on the wand. So I know this area could use some work. It's a little high. And a lot of the stuff I could just do with a file, but it's much faster to do with a chisel. All right, let's start to accentuate this little neck area here. I want a little bit of a dip, but not a lot of a dip. Okay. So all that weight's resting on this area right here, so I gotta be real careful. Okay, let's keep looking at it here. Let's accentuate that a little bit more. Let's bring this in a little deeper. Let's remove a little bit of this, give it a little more slender look. A little bit of this. Again, so I get a better curve here. This is just about the visual appeal. Let's go ahead and take that in. Some of this I could just do with the file, but I like to leave as little for the files as possible, like I've said. And then that'll also reduce the amount of sanding that I have to do. I really don't like how thick this area is right here, but I'm pretty hesitant to take it down too much. Let's try this. This was pretty soft. I don't know if I've mentioned that from a structural perspective, but some of the stuff, man, just gets really hard to work. I talked about that a little bit, this piece of driftwood that was just so hard to work that I was going to have to use power tools for it. I mean, really. That one came from Pearl Harbor also. I don't know if it's just, it soaks up a bunch of minerals or stuff that, minerals is a kind word. There we go. Sorry, I was just noticing this is starting to look pretty decent. There we go. Anyways, this wood's pretty soft. It works pretty easily. I mean, this could easily have taken 2-3 times as long if there was a harder wood involved. And there are some here. It's just most of them are going to be softer tropical woods. At least that I'm going to find drifting, in Pearl Harbor. They get washed out from either the surrounding communities, or which usually plant local stuff, right? Or further upstream during heavy rains. It eventually makes its way down to Pearl Harbor that way. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I have to keep lifting it up like that. I'm going around the GoPro. I'm just cleaning this up a little bit. All right. Okay, let's start working on this handle part right here. I need to clean this up a little bit. I mean, the file, most of this is going to have to be done with the file, I think. I'll take chunks out and then just smooth it down. That's the most logical way to do it. Like this little rise here is going to be done with a file. So I think we're almost done with the major shaping outside of like the face here and whatever I decide to do with the handle, and I haven't really decided to do much of anything yet, being indecisive. And I know that it's basically going to be a spot where it can get ruined. The whole piece can get ruined from that. There is a lot of really cool driftwoods. I've thought about making two-piece wands, but just haven't gotten there yet. I mean, that would be more of a tool thing, so I could, because I'd have to hollow out the wand to the base to hold the rest of the wand. That would open up some other alternatives, like a wand like this. If I really liked the base or I really liked the head of it, then one of the other cracks, and I could always fit it on something else. But I don't have the tools yet to do that reliably, so it's not really going to happen anytime soon. All right. All right, I think I'm fairly pleased with the overall shaping here, handle and head aside. I think that's going to work. So let me grab the file and start going to town. Now, we did talk about how the file transfers the shape of the file onto the work itself. You got to watch these sharp, well, sharp as in really defined, hard edges here. Because you could have a really good time right here and then slip and then put a line through it. Now you have to reshape that entire area, unless you just kind of want to say screw it and leave it. Not my idea of a good day. Again, we got to watch the pressure on the front end. So here we're just doing an overall smoothing. We'll take and go over individual spots later. I'm just kind of trying to lay it all out and see where it's going. This doesn't look bad. Gotta be careful here. Not bad, not bad. Alright, let's just go ahead and keep going then. Alright, one of the reasons why I'm using these longer strokes on here is because it levels it more uniformly to the parts next to it. So if I just go like this, then it can wear into this part of the wood, and then it's going to look different. But if I glide over the hole, then it's just going to take down those areas that are different to the areas next to it, right? So it'll get the high points and kind of make those a little bit smaller to match the lower points potentially beside it. And clean off my desk a little bit here. This fold-out table I'm using. Alright, so let's take a look. It's not bad. There's still some differences here. I don't think it's a gap in the wood. I think it's just some tooling things here. That's fine. This is a little bit lumpy still. If you can see that or not. Yeah, you can. Hell, you can see better in this thing than I can in my eyes. Oh yeah. All right, so that needs worked. I'll probably use a smaller file than that though, because I'm coming in. I don't want to risk biting into this neck and then having to make that thinner and thinner and thinner until I have to settle for whatever mistakes I made fewer of, right? But I do need it for here. This matches this area angle pretty well. So I can use it to clean this area up. There we go. Okay, so here I kind of want a little bit of that angle, that hard angle, visual. There we go. So we'll accentuate that a little bit. I gotta make sure I don't get this area right here. Leave a mark you can't get out. Let me grab another file. Alright, so it's not perfect, but it doesn't really have to be. What we're really looking to do here is the same thing we were doing with the chisel. We're just doing it with the files. And we're just kind of smoothing it out, so when we come in here with like sandpaper and stuff like that, then we can just make a uniform sanding of it. Now, a handle like this, I'm never really going to be satisfied with, but at some point you just call it. Now, obviously, it's not done yet, but if you're a perfectionist, then this part of the process is probably going to drive you nuts, because these files, as smooth as some of them are, some of them are more shaping files and some of them are more finishing files. You're still going to have to sand it essentially. Now you could use a scraper, and I used to have several of those, but they all got rusted out last time I was here, and I just didn't bother to buy any more. Some people prefer scraping to sanding and filing, and it has some genuine benefits to it when you can get a good scraper. The problem is getting a good scraper and maintaining it, especially in an environment like this. I mean, I don't have a fancy workshop or anything like that here. I haven't had a proper workshop in since probably 2016. So it's all right. You don't need it for driftwood lawns. What's my time on this? Ooh, 28 minutes. Okay. Well, I think I'll leave this video here, and we'll start doing more of the shaping. Eventually, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and work on this, the head of this. Man, I'm just so hesitant. I may actually just keep most of this and then file out some of the insides, and then just put like little lines to showcase like it's a mouth. But this is, man, this is thin to the touch. I mean, if I put my nail on this and it's not a terribly large nail, I'm going to imprint into this, so I'll have to keep that in mind. It's too bad. All right, I guess we're going to get this one uploaded then, and then start going from there.